If you ever find yourself deep in the woods at night, remember this one rule. When the forest goes completely quiet, don't follow the light. I learned that rule too late. I was 16 when my dad took me camping in Black Pine Woods. It was supposed to be a bonding trip. No phones, no distractions, just trees, firewood, and silence. The kind of silence that feels peaceful during the day and wrong at night. Our campsite sat near a narrow trail that twisted through tall pine trees. During the day, sunlight barely reached the ground. At night, it felt like the forest swallowed everything. The first night was normal. We cooked, laughed, and went to sleep in our tents. But sometime after midnight, I woke up to something strange. Light. A soft yellow glow flickered between the trees. At first, I thought it was another camper, maybe someone lost. The light moved slowly, like a lantern being carried by hand. Then I realized something that made my stomach tighten. There were no other campsites for miles. I unzipped my tent and whispered for my dad. No answer. His tent was open, empty. That's when I heard his voice. "Hey," he called softly from the trees. "Come here. I found something." Relief washed over me. I stepped out, barefoot on cold dirt, and followed the light. Each step took me deeper into the woods. The trees grew closer together, their branches clawing at my clothes. "Dad," I called. The voice answered again, but this time it wasn't right. It sounded like him, but slower, stretched, just a little farther. The light stopped near a massive oak tree. I stepped closer and froze. The light wasn't a lantern. It was floating, and standing beneath it was something tall and thin, its shape almost human, but wrong. Its head tilted toward me, and when it spoke, it used my dad's voice perfectly. "You came," it said. Behind it, nailed into the oak tree, was my dad's flashlight. I ran. Branches ripped at my skin as I sprinted blindly through the woods. Behind me, footsteps followed, slow, calm, never rushing, like it knew I couldn't escape. I burst into the campsite just as the forest went silent. The thing stopped at the edge of the trees. It smiled. Search teams found me the next morning. They never found my dad. But sometimes, when I camp near woods, I see a soft yellow light between the trees. And it always sounds like someone I trust. Every small town has a forest kids are warned about. In my town, it was Gray Hollow. People said if you walked too far in, you'd come out somewhere else, or not at all. I didn't believe it. Neither did my friends. One afternoon, 4 of us decided to hike through Gray Hollow. We stuck to the main trail at first, laughing and filming dumb videos. The woods were quiet, but nothing felt dangerous. Then Jake stopped walking. "Was this here before?" he asked. To our left was a narrow dirt path cutting between trees. None of us remembered seeing it on the way in. Curiosity won. The path felt wrong from the start. The air grew colder, and the trees leaned inward, like they were listening. After 10 minutes, our phones lost signal. After 15, the forest went silent. No birds, no wind, just our footsteps. The path suddenly ended at a wooden sign. It had one word carved into it. Return. We laughed nervously and turned around. The path was gone. Behind us was only thick forest. Panic set in. We split up, yelling each other's names. That's when I heard my own voice calling back to me. "Over here," it said. I turned and saw myself standing between the trees. It smiled and stepped backward, vanishing into the woods. I ran until my lungs burned. Eventually, I burst out onto the main trail. Police later found the others. They were alive, but none of them would speak. They just stared at the woods. Sometimes, when I drive past Gray Hollow, I see a new path where none existed before, and I swear it's waiting for me to finish what I started. There is a stretch of forest near my hometown that locals avoid after sunset. It doesn't have a name on any map, but everyone calls it the Deep End. The reason is simple. People who go in too far stop coming back. When I was 17, I thought that was just another small-town legend. I wish I had listened. It started with a missing dog. My neighbor's golden retriever ran into the woods during a storm and never came back. The next morning, I volunteered to help look for it. I grabbed a flashlight and followed the trail that led into the deep end. The woods were quiet, too quiet. No birds, no insects, just the sound of my own footsteps crunching leaves. After about 20 minutes, I heard something that made me stop. A whistle. It sounded human, slow and calm, echoing between the trees. "Hello?" I called out. The whistling stopped. Then a voice answered, "Over here!" Relief hit me. I assumed it was another volunteer. I followed the sound deeper into the woods. The trees grew taller and closer together. The air felt colder, heavier, like it was pressing against my chest. Then I noticed something strange. The voice kept calling from different directions, but the distance never changed. "Over here!" No matter how far I walked, it always sounded the same distance away. I stopped and turned around. The trail was gone. Behind me was nothing but endless trees. My phone had no signal. My flashlight flickered once, then stayed dim. Then I heard footsteps. Slow, careful. Someone was walking around me, just out of sight. I spun in circles trying to see them. "Show yourself!" I shouted. The footsteps stopped. Then the voice spoke again. This time it sounded like me. "Over here!" My stomach dropped. From between the trees, something stepped forward. It looked human at first. Same height, same clothes, same face. Mine. It smiled, but the smile didn't reach its eyes. "You shouldn't have followed," it said in my voice. I backed away, shaking. "What are you?" I asked. It tilted its head, listening to something I couldn't hear. A replacement? The forest grew colder. The silence pressed in. Behind the thing, I saw shapes moving between the trees. Shadows that didn't belong to anything solid. I ran. Branches cut my arms as I crashed through the woods. The whistling followed me, coming from everywhere at once. My own voice laughed behind me. Eventually, I tripped and rolled down a steep slope. When I hit the bottom, everything went black. I woke up at the edge of the woods just before sunrise. Search teams later told me they found me unconscious near the trail entrance. They asked who I had been with. I told them no one. They looked confused. They said someone else had been calling for help deeper in the woods. using my voice. The dog was never found, but sometimes at night, when the wind is right, I hear whistling from the deep end, and I make sure I never answer back.